Hi everyone, Alan Wendt on behalf of Soundings Trade Only here at IBEX in Tampa, Florida. The year is 2025. Garmin, our sponsor. David Broadbent with us from ABYC. Good to see you again, sir.
Absolutely, always a pleasure.
You have done a lot of education in the past year, which of course is part of what you do, but there's some specific topics that come up from year to year or new initiatives that have to go along the way. Tell us about what's going on as we get ready to start another year.
Sure, so we've got a lot going on at ABYC as always. We have a ton of new certifications. One of them is a Coast Guard regulatory certification. So if you're a boat builder, we highly encourage you to take a look at that. We also have a service management certification that's about 2 years old, but it's really kind of helping develop those service departments more. So we're trying to help fill some of those gaps. And one thing we're really excited about on the certification front is we have a non-certification course now, which is Boatyard Basics. So it's an intro to Boatyard Basics. We saw a big gap when people are starting to work in the industry of learning. It's a steep learning curve a lot of the times, going and working in a new yard and what are the big machines, what is a travel lift. So we're trying to help with that. We have about a 5-hour course that we're launching actually in the next coming weeks here. So it's an online course, very experiential, lots of video content, and we're hoping it's really going to help people with starting these new jobs. So on the certification front, it's big stuff we have going on.
One of the things that I've seen happen in the industry in the past year is the focus on how many more years of life our boats are giving us pleasure out on the water. But that also creates some problems with aging fuel systems, and thanks to the internet and video cameras everywhere, we've seen these massive fireball explosions. I mean, serious stuff at fuel docks. What are we doing about these aging fuel systems? Because that's a topic of its own.
It is. I mean, gasoline fuel systems are one of the most hazardous things out there. They're dangerous. If they're not treated right, they can cause problems. Fortunately, our standards are made and maintained to avoid those issues. And we've seen some of these issues out there. So this year specifically, we work with the Coast Guard, and about every 3-4 times a year, we have what's called a risk mitigation webinar series. And we focused a big one on fuel systems this year. So we wanted to make sure we were addressing that to kind of get ahead of these things. The maintenance, like we said, the outdated nature of some of these things. We also pushed it hard during National Safe Boating Week. So all of our videos we put out were how you should maintain and do different things with your fuel systems. And lastly, with our PTC meetings, we do have a subcommittee looking into how we address some of these aging fuel systems because, people aren't addressing them appropriately. Sometimes, people who have a boat, the bilge can fill with fumes and people treat it like a car sometimes. So it's not, there are some inherent safety issues. So we're looking to help address that where we can and kind of fill in some gaps.
Now you, being the type of guy that you are, you probably do raise the hood on your car and look at all the systems. But I can't remember the last time we pulled into the Circle K and did that. And it used to be that people came out and inspected for it and say, hey, this hose looks like it needs repair. Is that part of the issue with new boaters coming in and not knowing what to look for?
Yes, it's boats are more accessible to more people these days. So if you're buying a small boat and you're a small family and you just want to take it on the water, you may not know what can go with that. And you might search the internet a little bit, but boater education is a huge piece of what we try to do to keep people safe on the water.
And of course, if you're buying from a dealer, they typically will have a delivery captain. But if you're buying from a sidewalk sale or driveway sale, that doesn't happen at all.
Exactly. So like we said, education's the biggest piece there and making sure people are maintaining things in accordance with ABYC standards.
What are we doing with young people in there? There is no such thing as a trade school in the 12th grade anymore.
Yeah.
But what are we doing to get new people into the industry with education? You mentioned just even something as simple as boat yards. Used to be if you grew up in the boat business, you were on a boat yard the whole time.
Absolutely.
You knew. Today, somebody walks through and they want rapid advancement or otherwise they're on to another job.
Yeah, so we're working hard on that. I mean, one of the key things is Skills USA. If you're familiar with that organization, it is the largest trade education organization in the country. And I recently took over as a national chair for the Marine Service Competition. So we have some great partners there. We have Yamaha, Mercury, NMEA, Suzuki, and Honda, as well as ourselves, all participated in the national contest last year. It's held in Atlanta, Georgia every year. And we're working to help divide that. We also have our Marine Trade Accreditation Program. So we're actually out there accrediting schools. So one of the big problems is if people come out of a school and say, hey, I learned how to work on this, how do you verify that? So with our accreditation program, we're actually going into these schools and verifying what they're doing. So if you hire somebody from one of our MTAP schools, as we call it, you know that they had a good education at that institution.
What are you finding? We always hear about AI in the last couple of years. What are you finding that is doing to help advance the cause of knowledge?
Huge on safety. I mean, for us, we don't see it as much. The electrical systems, it's helping out a big way. But a lot of these safety devices, whether you're seeing the cameras that help people, docking, remote docking systems. We have a lot of subcommittees working on that also. So, it's at the front edge on the standard side of things, but we have some committees working hard on it. And, we actually have our standards week coming up in Charleston the second week of January. So that's where our 280 plus project technical committee members meet and actually discuss what's going on with the standard. So if anyone's interested in participating in that, you're more than welcome to register and attend. It's where boating safety happens.
How long does it take to get a standard published these days?
Well, it takes about a year at least. So, it's one of those things that you don't want to see how the sausage is made. It's a very tedious process, but that's what it needs to be to make sure we're putting out the best standards possible.
Good. David Broadbent, ABYC, thank you for being
Appreciate
with
it.
us today.
Thanks for having me out.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And from IBEX in Tampa, I'm Alan Wendt.